part 2. I'm Whitney Reynolds, host of The Whitney Reynolds Show. We've been walking you through how to get to the I do's. And today you're actually going to get to see our wedding unfold and how we got to that point in the transformation process. Part 1 of I Do Chicago broke down the to-dos before you do with wedding planner Susan Cordigan. We talked about the look from what to wear, how to accessorize, and the new trends like grooms buying their custom suits. We also introduced you to our wedding experts. If you missed that, you can find it on thewhitneyreynoldshow.com. Now we're going to take a few steps backwards because you can't say I do without meeting the perfect one. We have a matchmaker in the house, Steph in the City. Welcome.
Nice to be here.
Yeah, and we also have my groom. I want to make sure he's
Thank you.
just sitting over here like, what am I doing? But people, it's hard to meet. We're surrounded by millions in this city. And how are people meeting these days?
I think a lot of people are meeting, they meet through friends, they meet through online dating, they do dating applications such as Tinder, but some people don't want to admit how they meet because everybody thinks they're going to meet the natural way like you and your husband did. But again, a lot of it comes down to, using the matchmaking options, using a matchmaker, using the dating options, going online, because people don't come up to people in the way they used to. People are always on their cell phone.
That's an interesting point. You also said most people don't meet like we did, but don't let this guy fool you. He was on all those online platforms when we met. Tell us what that was like, David. You're bringing the guy's perspective today.
It's a little intimidating as a guy to be on those because are you going to send messages out? Are you waiting to get them in? So having a service like yours would be pretty interesting, actually. I never did it, but I'm sure it's very successful.
Which I'm glad you didn't because your success rate is really high. So let's talk about a matchmaker. Being a matchmaker, what do you do?
Well, one of the things that I started out doing, I did casting for the dating game. That's how I actually met people. So I actually went out and met people for television. So that was my first forte into the matchmaking aspect. It's not just about you look at somebody and you know instantly. You have to just at least approach people. And I can't tell you how many times I got rejected because I just would just keep going and going and going. So in order to really understand matchmaking, you have to be open to the rejection. And rejection happens daily, and so a lot of people get scared of rejection. And so that's what I think holds people back. But the thing is, since there's so many options these days, you have to be able to roll with the punches.
Would you say that it is important to find common denominators once you start dating in order to have a successful dating relationship, or even that would lead to a marriage?
Well, I think the things that you have to start out with is you have to have conversations without interviewing, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. They think they can interview on the first, second, or third date, and that's it. We know whether or not this person's right for us for the next 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or the rest of my life. And so I think the common denominators you want to find out in the beginning, there's a few key ones. You want to find out, does this person have a positive attitude, and do they seem open and available to be in a relationship? And you want to also find out things, how do they feel about marriage? How do they feel about a serious relationship? How do they feel about children? But you're still going to have to take the temperature continuing in the relationship. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. So they do initially look for those common denominators, but you have to find out, do those common denominators stick 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months down the line? And you have to have goals, just like if you were looking for a job. You don't want to stay at the same job without being promoted. People are the same way about dating.
Oh, promotion. Did I interview you on our first date? Would you say that? I'm hearing a lot of stuff that maybe I did wrong.
They were subtle. Well, not really subtle.
I think I asked a lot of questions. I just kind of let my job overtake.
I think when you do, if you have a reporter-like background, I think there's certain exceptions to the rule. I'm not saying that everything works in one way because we all know it doesn't. But there's certain things that if this was a habit of yours and you were going on dates and you were interviewing these people, you'd
be exhausting. I should get paid for that.
You'd probably get some idea. And the thing is that he was comfortable and open to the way that you guys met. One of the things that stands out to me is that you weren't around multiple people. That's another problem when people try and meet people. They bring their 5 girlfriends with them. And the guys get very intimidated, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think the fact that you were more one-on-one, you were in a natural setting, there was no alcohol involved.
Just coffee.
Just coffee. So you knew at that point, you know, you were in a comfortable zone because he probably wasn't expecting to meet anyone any more than you were. So some of the pressure might have been off. So some of the questions might have not come across as interview type because you weren't on a, you know, when you first met, you weren't on a date. You were in a natural setting.
Well, thank you so much, Steph, for coming on. So the key thing that people can walk away from if they're feeling discouraged because they haven't met the one, just keep your eyes open and get off those cell phones. Is that what you would say?
I would say that every day make an effort in some way, whether it's to compliment somebody, whether it's just to do something different, go to a different exercise class. Go plan out your social life in a different way. Don't do the same old things with the same old people. You're going to have to always change and step it up. Like I say, if you're looking for a job and it's not working, you're going to have to keep looking for new options and opportunities, and always stay open because you never know. You can meet your husband at the coffee shop.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Steph. For everyone, the journey is so different, and for us, it did start at a coffee shop. Let's take a look at our journey.
There's a lot of craziness in the world today. Not much left to believe in if you read in the front page. Call me old-fashioned, call me a bit naive. I know what I stand for, yeah, I know what I believe, oh baby, and I believe in miracles, I believe in trust, and I believe that there are angels here. I believe in lucky love, and I believe in true romance. Yes, I believe in love, and most of all, baby, I believe in love. Maybe life is a gamble. We could win or we could lose. But I'll guarantee that this world's never seen anything like me and you.
Well, we wanted to hear how people were meeting out there. So we took it to Twitter. At mnash183 said she met her fiance 7 years ago and never forgot his name because it's her last name. 7 months ago, they reconnected and he proposed in December. At Jasper Knoll says he met his partner, Sean, and now fiance, while interviewing him for a job. They are getting married in the city this fall.